Hello and welcome to the Be Fairy Afraid podcast, the podcast where we look at all the fairy tales you know and love and replace them with the original ones that were dark and sordidly written. I'm Louise Atkinson.
And I'm Fiona Ridgewell. And this week, Louise becomes a hero.
Questionable.
You do. And I'm giving up comedy to pursue my singing career.
Heroes come in different sizes.
La 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 la. And we read The Scottish Legend of the Brownie.
Ooh. So, in the words of our good friend Jean-Baptiste Basile, in his words from The Enchanted Dirge, what were they, Fee?
Shut your mouth, open your ears, and hear what I shall tell.
Ooh, nailed it. Thank you.
Friends on a quest, putting these fairy tales to the test, talking all things magical, mystical, but sometimes not very sophistical. Be very afraid, someone actually wrote this story down. Be very afraid, why are all the women wearing massive gowns? Why is he kissing her without her consent? What on earth is going on? Will they figure it out what this story's all about? Oh, be very afraid.
Hello, Fiona.
Hello, Louise.
How's it going?
Yeah, everything's
It's going.
swell.
Sweat. Why does that sound sarcastic?
Because I tried to use a word that I thought you might enjoy, but doesn't
Swell.
suit me. Yeah, because you do sometimes seem like you're from the past, and I feel like they say swell.
Why do you continuously make references to my age like I'm some old decrepit woman?
No, but like you like history, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't.
No, oh, come on, babe. That's not fair. You don't like knowledge of any kind irrelevant of category.
Exactly, yeah.
Wait, hang on. So on Trivial Pursuit, what's your category?
Oh, arts and entertainment.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I did say this the other day. I haven't got a mastermind topic. I don't think I need one anytime soon.
Well, unless you're going on it, because you can't go on Mastermind going, sorry, not got one. I'll just sit this round out.
What happens is my mum and dad have an unwavering faith in my ability to become famous. So a lot of the time they'll be like, you should really be practicing your cooking for Bake Off. I'm like, well, I don't think we need to do that. What's your mastermind topic? Don't think we need that yet, Karen. Put it to bed.
You don't have a mastermind topic?
No, even if they were like, right, the topic is Fiona Ridgewell, I'd be like, oh, fuck, I don't know enough about her. I wouldn't know. What would yours be?
Great question. I could do Friends, but I think that's very outdated. I could probably do the life works of Victoria Wood.
Okay, lovely.
Pretty well. I could also, this is more niche one, I could probably do Spyro the Dragon, the original first 3 games.
The thing is, if I start a conversation by saying I don't have one, it's quite unnerving to speak to someone who has at least 3.
Yeah, but babe, look at what they are. I think most people in the United Kingdom could probably do Friends. Let's not kid ourselves, because it's on Comedy Central constantly. Spyro the Dragon is weird as hell. Iffy about Victoria Wood's life. So I wouldn't say it's not like I'm doing a compendium of Enid Blyton versus the Iliad. Like, I'm not doing something highbrow here. I'm doing like a video game.
I only knew what Enid Blyton was at that sentence. Little bit left field for me.
Go on then.
Do I look like Spyro the Dragon? Because I worked at TGI Fridays for 13 years and they used to call me Spyro because they said I look like Spyro the Dragon. Do I look like Spyro the Dragon?
I don't think you look like a small purple dragon that has a dragonfly chasing it wherever it goes, showing its life support. No, I funnily enough don't.
What's weird is in that 13 years, never Googled it. Never wanted to know.
He's
What?
a very cute little purple dragon.
Oh, that's quite nice then, isn't it?
But he's got like a horn for a head and he's got wings.
It's not ideal.
I wouldn't say you look like Spyro, but you have like the energy of Spyro because he just runs around charging into everything going, I'm going to go find everything, and doesn't put any forethought into it whatsoever.
I was going through my phone yesterday. I was trying to find something. And I found a video from TGI Fridays, and it was just me. I was getting like boxes, packs of napkins, and just smashing my head into them.
yeah, this is why you were called Spyro. It had nothing to do with how you look.
For what reason? I don't know. It's just been a really long shift, I think.
And again, the calibre of the staff at TGI Fridays amazes me.
Did you do anything nice over the last week?
I wouldn't say this was nice. I had an incident.
Like hygienic or
Why would that be your first one? You constantly look unclean. Is it another hygienic issue?
I was looking for the word hygiene. Incident sounds like you shit yourself.
Yeah. No, I was driving home from a gig, so it was quite far, so it was quite late. It was about 1 a.m.
Right.
And I was driving around the roundabout, and I was coming down the road, and a guy on his moped had clearly slipped and fallen off. He was on the road as I was driving up, so obviously I just stopped my car in the middle of the road, got out, went to check on him, and then all these other people surrounded as well. But the thing is I hadn't moved my car, so there was just other cars going behind me. First of all, I was trying to call an ambulance, because this is the thing, there was so many people gathering round, but nobody fucking does anything, and
everyone gets a bit.
It drives me insane. I'm like, someone want to call an ambulance? I'm like, yeah, we should call an ambulance. I'm like, well, I'll do it then, shall I? But the thing is my phone was connected to the Bluetooth in my car, so I kept trying to call, and I was like, hello, and I was like, nobody was answering.
No.
And I was like, why 999 not answering? This is ridiculous. But they were answering. I was just not in my car.
Yeah.
So that was really embarrassing, because I did it 6 times. I was just like, oh, shit.
Also, never mind embarrassing. Was he okay?
Yeah, he's still there now. I don't know.
Would he have been better if you'd got through the first time?
Yeah. But the problem is the cars that were stacking up behind, all they saw was I'd abandoned my car in the middle of the road and gone to help someone who'd fallen. So it looked like I'd hit him.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so then I'm having to go, no, it's no. And people are like, I'm like, no, he was just like this. Like,
you're waking him up.
yeah, I'm like getting him around. Look, he's dancing. He's fine.
Let him know. He was all right, though, wasn't he?
Oh, he's fine.
Oh, thank God.
Sorry, there's a nice end to the story. Because he should have gone to hospital, but he was really like, no, I'm not going.
Maybe he didn't have insurance.
Well, I was like, yeah, why don't you want to go? I waited with him till the ambulance got there. And then the paramedics were absolutely fantastic, as they always are, and the NHS were fantastic. But yeah, that I basically, I'm sure there's someone out there going, I just saw a woman hit that moped on that car. I'm like, I did nothing.
Yeah, when you said it was going to be a happy ending, I thought you would.
It was a happy ending in that nobody was dead.
Real different opinions on what happy endings are.
Oh, you like the ones where people are dead, do you? They're
no, I like the ones where like you end up in a romance. Also, we do have different, like, you know when you said, oh, I saw a man fall off his moped, so I pulled over and just got out and helped him.
You'd have driven over him like a speed bump.
Well, have you never heard those stories of, like, don't get out the car because sometimes they're trying to ambush you?
I mean, he was clear. If he was really dedicated. He was really method acting.
Oh, did you see him go off?
No, but I saw him lying there with his leg in a non-leg shape. So he was really committed.
Okay. Yeah, because I would have been like, is it a trap? No?
No.
Okay.
Maybe I'm the more naive one. But then again, I'm fully aware that I could just twat someone out if I needed to.
Yeah, I mean...
You could,
so could I, yeah, I think.
You probably more than me.
I'm stronger than Matt. I mean, that...
Because how many martial arty hitting things have you done now?
Boxing. And
MMA?
Muay Thai. No, not MMA.
Oh, did you not do MMA?
MMA, they can get you on the floor and stuff. I think I'm quite strong on the floor.
I'm going to... Oi, oi!
Hey!
I see
Get on top of me. Let me show you how strong I am.
In the sexiest way. 10! Done! I see that one coming up sometime for you, though.
What, MMA?
The thing is, though, because you do just get a new thing every 5 minutes. And I'll be like, oh, Fee's she's just finished doing some sort of Muay Thai box. And then it's like, oh, now I'm going to be a professional wrestler. And then you're just starting to do that. And then you do something weird like battle. You just cover it all off.
Funny you should say that.
Oh, what she started now.
On the drive here, I've decided comedy isn't my dream.
So please tell me this on our comedy podcast that we're doing.
It's not my dream.
Right.
I want to be in a musical. I'm going to teach myself to sing to a professional level. I don't know how because I am a bit tone deaf, but I'm making it my mission. I heard this thing the other day that if there's this chemical in your brain,
right,
and if you give it a goal, it'll work towards it with you.
A chemical or a little person?
It was a Mel Robbins thing. It was.
Oh, Christ on a bike.
It was something to do with like a shower cap and a net and letting things through in your head.
That's someone catching you with a net.
Something to do with if you want a Mini, say I wanted a Mini Cooper, and I was like, right, I'm getting a Mini. All I'll see is Mini Coopers. Something like that. I don't really understand the logic behind it.
Because
But,
there isn't any.
but it really made me think,
What's a load of old
start
bollocks?
practicing your singing.
Right. But I thought somebody had tried.
Yeah, about 15 grand's worth of lessons.
15 grand.
Yeah.
Hang on, is it that you is it that you can sing, it's just you got bad stage fright, or is it that you just couldn't?
It could be a number of things, to be honest. I definitely once did karaoke and got vomit in my mouth, so that's the stage
Oh, you can't even
fright.
do it in front of friends.
Nah, I don't like that. But in terms of like placement, like being able to place my voice in different parts of my head, chest, mouth. Very technical
Yeah,
singer.
yeah.
I'm good at that. But then when the music comes on, not great at the tune.
Some would say quite a vital part to the
Yeah.
element of singing.
But I saw a musical yesterday, Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, how was it?
Fan-bloody-tastic.
Was it?
It was so good.
It's on my list.
Finishes soon, but you have to go and see it. It's so good. They do like this thing, spoiler, the main character goes out of the theatre, sings one of the main songs outside in the street, but they've got like these handheld big camera things and they follow him down into like the Strand and round the streets. Annoying when you've paid £100 for a ticket and he's fucking singing out there, but
And definitely not pre-recorded.
definitely not. No.
Yeah, there.
No, I'm pretty sure it isn't. Oh, I don't think. Do you think it was? No.
It was actually nighttime and it was set at 1 p.m.
No,
in the day.
because the same car was outside.
Which you definitely couldn't do if you pre-recorded something.
Oh, that is upsetting. The only way I will be able to let you know is if I hang around
And you get a
the
part.
Savoy Theatre around 9 p.m. because I did check my watch because I thought, I'll come up here every day, get a little free performance.
Yeah, please do. And let us all know.
So that's my new quest. I think it's good to
Instead of your career of comedy, you're now just going to linger outside the Savoy, which won't get you in any trouble whatsoever, to see if a particular car is there at a particular time.
And the singer comes out, yeah, and I'm putting that 10 years of comedy to bed.
Yeah, fair. That seems reasonable.
But I think what a great way to start a fairy tale podcast with a quest.
A comedy podcast with I don't want to do comedy, but I do like quests. I'm only going to be half involved with this podcast moving
Yeah.
forward. Speaking of fairy tales, do you want to know what we're doing this week?
Always.
I think you'll like this one. Scottish.
Do you know that about me?
You've mentioned it like about 57 times. Are you taking the piss?
What, that I'm half Scottish?
That you're half Scottish?
I am half
Which
Scottish.
half?
Mums.
Yeah,
Is
not
that
like
what you mean?
Not like me right arm. Like, yeah, I mean, which family side?
Waist below. Love a kilt. Love it.
Your mum's side. Oh, so
Yeah.
your mum's Scottish.
Yeah, but not. She hasn't got the accent. But my grandma had a strong Scottish accent.
Whereabouts from?
Aberdeen.
Right. Okay.
Aberdeen.
Okay.
Fiona.
Well, maybe you can do the voices in this one.
Probably still not. No.
Because otherwise it's just me offending the Scottish this week. Strap in. Scottish myth and legendy kind of one. It's about the brownie. Did your grandmother ever tell you a story about the brownie?
No.
They've got different names and they're all types of versions of the brownie in the UK, but also all over like Europe. So they're sometimes called hobgoblins. There's like Welsh versions of it. They're like
Right.
little creatures, but they actually, I found this out, they descended, or it's thought they descended actually from like Roman mythology, where there was something called a lair, which was like a deity that you would have in the home that would help with cleaning in the home. And slowly over time, they've morphed into this sort of goblin-esque creature.
Like a Dobby.
So this is really interesting. I found this out because famous brownies include Dobby, Big Ears from Noddy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was apparently a brownie.
Oh, no. Oh, so they're quite cute.
No. Where they're from as well depicts how ugly they are. Apparently they're very ugly.
And these ones are from Scotland, are they? These hideous ones?
There are different
You've
ones
definitely offended the Scots
throughout
immediately.
the country. Don't shudder your udders, okay? There's different ones going on here.
Someone went home at the weekend, didn't they?
So in some parts of Scotland, they'll have really massive noses and be like covered in hair. In other parts, they've got no fingers
And that's
or
where I
toes.
get that from.
It's all
I
coming
wonder I've
together
got
now.
to epilate my bum. I got my face waxed today. No, sorry, Karen.
What?
Yeah, not all
Your
of it.
face
not,
waxed?
Not all of it. Like the lip and the chin. And then actually she went down to my neck. I thought I didn't even know there was stuff there. She did a bit of
You're
neck.
a really hairy person.
Okay.
But I'm finding this out.
Yeah, I am quite hairy, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway, brownies. Maybe you are brownie because they like to be left alone and not disturbed and be ugly in their own vicinity.
Sorry, I don't. Although yesterday I did say to Matthew, I went, I think this is up there with the worst I've ever looked in front of you. And he went, yeah, it's definitely up there.
They're famously meant to do housework. That's what they love doing. They love doing chores around the house, but for no pay and no gratitude. They don't like being ridiculed or made fun of. And they also, if you pay them or like in any, they like to be appreciated with you traditionally leaving out some sort of milk or cream item by the hearth to pay, because they come and work at night.
I bloody well am a brownie.
Right? They do all the work for you at night, but then, yeah, they don't want to be paid, because if you do that, they'll be offended. They just want a little sort of moment to be appreciated. And also, yeah, they don't like to be ridiculed. And if you ridicule them enough, they actually can get angry. And if they get angry enough, they can turn into a boggart. And a boggart's like a really hideous little creature as well that usually lives in swamps. And they're incredibly aggressive and angry. And most of the time, they're badly mischievous. But in worst cases, they have known to like steal children and murder people. Because also brownies
Fucking hell, we've gone from fairy tales to Crime Watch.
I'm sorry, do you not know this podcast where it's really evil and everyone dies? Do you not remember the Goblin of Adachikahara where she's like cutting up that bloke in her house?
Funnily enough, I don't remember the Goblin of Chikara. Read it to me again.
Traditionally, brownies are very often male, but there is one very well-known female one who is called Hairy Meg. Maggie Mulach, I believe, is like the Scottish pronunciation. Mega sorry to Scotland. No. So she was like this brownie, very famous one who worked like, it was always seen, there was always tales of her being found near a particular castle in Scotland. And she was meant to be, because there's this theory that brownies could be the ghosts potentially of like old servants. And she would be lingering around. But one day her child was ridiculed and he was known as a Dobby, which is a really stupid brownie, basically.
Right.
And she turned insane and then started like stealing children and just went and turned into a boggart, basically.
So is that where J.K. Rowling got?
I think it might.
She's nicked that, has she?
Because there's some versions.
Because he's a bit silly. I love him, but he's a bit silly.
And also in some versions of the brownie story. And the tales of brownies, there are some people who say that you can give an item of clothing to them and that will set them free from their master, which is literally what happened to Dobby.
He got a
Harry
sock.
Potter.
Yeah.
But some people say that's also not true. There's a lot of contradictory things with de brownies. But yeah, they like cream, they don't like being appreciated, and they like to be left alone. But there's some occasions where they can help humans and do form a relationship, although it's rare. But that happens in the story we're going to do.
Oh, nice.
Going to do today.
Okay,
Right.
perfect. Yeah.
Y'all ready for this?
Is that how you start a fairy tale? Y'all ready for this? No. I'm the singer. Let's not forget.
Ready?
Yes, please.
The brownie. Off we go. In Scotland, there's a creature that's not a witch or a warlock or even really a fairy. He's a brownie, and he's ugly, so he's not often seen by mortal eyes. For brownies are small creatures with great bulging eyes and faces that are furred like the backside of a donkey. So to be fair, if you didn't wax your face and had some Prosecco, this could be you.
To be fair, actually, the beautician did say, she went, are you sure you want this done? You sure you need it? I said, yeah. She said, there's not really much on your chin. And I said, I just don't like the bum fluff. And then I realised you can't really say bum fluff as an adult.
No.
Bum fluff is a sort of
Teenage
year
thing.
10 word, isn't it? Because she looked at me like, we just call it fluff here.
Yeah.
But she didn't say, fuck me, that's the back end of a donkey. Let's get a couple more beauticians in here.
Their teeth are like battered stones, and when they smile, they set fear in the hearts of all men. What's wrong with your face now?
That was me before I got my Invisalign.
Oh. But a brownie is a helpful soul, and although they are not often wanted round about a house or a farm, they work a kind of magic and help to clean and to tend the farm or run the mill for just the price of a bowl of cream and the odd bit of oatmeal. So very helpful, going around doing all this, but usually in the depths of night, not interacting with anyone. They can also usually turn invisible or morph into animals to disguise themselves if they need to.
Okay.
So I relate to them quite strongly. I too would like to be left alone and just disguise myself
Just
as an
turn
animal.
into an animal.
That would be lovely. Yes, please and thank you. There also
A lot of facts this week.
I learned a lot of facts about this.
Someone's gone heavy on the research this week, haven't they?
Someone had little to do this week.
While we were waiting for the paramedics, I did do a bit of Googling.
And he did not appreciate it. Because I was like, I wonder if this relates to like the Girl Guides, which are the brownies.
I'm so glad you said that, because when you was explaining all this stuff at the beginning, and now I realise why I don't take stuff in, all I was thinking is Girl Guides / brownies. Like I was like, and it never came.
So I just want to take a step back and just say that we are probably just a few minutes into this podcast and you are telling me that everything I've said has already fallen out your head. We haven't even done the podcast. At least before I was under the pretense that we at least had the knowledge in the time of the podcast and then it fell out. But you're like, oh no, it's in time. It just falls out immediately.
I vaguely remember something about a boggit.
So I was wondering if the Girl Guides were called the brownies because of this, because originally they were called Rosebuds when they were founded, but they didn't like that name. And at the time, there was a story that had been written by Juliana Ewing, which was about brownies, but it was a very sweet version. They were very sweet and nice creatures, a little bit mischievous. So the people of the brownies petitioned going, can we call ourselves brownies? Because of this story about brownies.
Oh,
so it is related.
Oh, lovely. Good.
You don't seem to care, and I'm sure you'll not remember it.
Just
in
now
5 minutes.
now my head's going, was Louise ever a brownie? Don't ask her, don't ask her, don't ask her.
I did karate, I didn't do brownie.
Sorry. Karate?
I did karate.
You've broken those syllables up too harshly.
Karate.
Yeah. Just karate, babe.
All right, well, I did that instead of being a brownie.
Oh, I didn't know those two things were explicit.
Oh yeah, there's only two things to do in Hull as a woman, and it's those two. You can't do them the same at the same time. There once was a brownie who lived round about a house on a farm in Wester Ross in Kintail. That's Westeros, not Westeros like Game of Thrones, to be clear. The house on the farm was empty, so the brownie had made himself a happy home there. In this same village, near the house on the farm, lived a young miller who shared a house with his mother. Now, his mother was a greedy woman, and she dabbled in magic of all sorts. Not all of it white, to be sure, and she had set her sights on the young lassie at the big house on the hill to be the wife of her young miller son.
Oh, an arranged marriage.
Yeah, so she's a witch,
Mm.
and not a nice one.
Yeah.
And she's like, my son needs to get up his status, and he's useless, so I'm going to decide for him.
Right. So the girl on the house on the hill, she's got a lot of dollar, is she?
Apparently so.
Cool.
Or rather her father has, because women don't have, things like rights or money or anything like that.
Samesies.
Preach! The lassie was pretty and her nature was kind, but the young miller was already in love with another, a servant girl who went by the name of Katie. Now, Katie was as fair as the morning sky, and her cheeks were flushed with roses. She was a bonny lass, and she would work hard with her husband to tend a mill and to make him into something grand. First of all, I relate to Katie, because I too have rosacea.
I'm a bonny lass.
No, I was going to say I'm too flushed constantly. And also, I don't like this. She would work hard with her husband to tend a mill and make him into something grand. So why is she doing a load of work to make him look better? That doesn't seem very fair.
No, but also she's married. So what's he got his eye on her for?
No, she isn't married.
Oh.
He wants to marry. He's in love with her.
Oh, he thinks that if he marries her, she will tend to her husband and make him grand.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was like, she's really great with that husband. I'd love to take his place.
I mean, to be fair, that is probably a fairy tale's work. Like, I looked at you and now we're married. But yeah, no, it just says she was a bonny lass and she would work hard with her husband to tend a mill and to make him into something grand.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
That was a bit confusing for me.
Now, the young miller's mother would have nothing of it. Oh, so I need a voice for the witchy mother.
I watched Guys and Dolls.
Yeah.
And I thought this would be a great voice for Louise to do. I know it's got nothing to do with Scotland, but it's like, oh my God. Can you do one of those?
Oh, like a New York gangster.
like a New York, like,
oh, it's
my
Mickey's
God.
Mickey Blue.
Yeah, can you do some of them?
Because it's a Scottish story. I thought we should do Scottish.
People move. You can cross borders now.
Not in this time, you couldn't.
Okay, you can do Scottish if you want.
And also because some of the sentence is written like Scottishy.
Oh, okay. So it's a necessity. Can you do a Shrek? Is that offensive? To Shrek?
And to Shrek, that famously sensitive ogre. I was thinking maybe like Old Witch, but with a bad Scottish accent.
Okay.
Not intentionally bad, just that's probably what will come out of my face.
You know it won't.
No, we know it
You're
will.
an absolute bloody
I
diamond.
think it'd be
Let me
like,
hear it.
do you remember when I had to do the Northern Irish one and it was like a woman who'd been to Northern Ireland and got a bit confused roundabout? I think it's going to be a bit like that.
Okay.
Now, the young miller's mother would have nothing of it. Look, ye must marry this farmer's daughter with a big farm and everything. It would be yours because her father's getting on. He went a bit Irish.
It went a bit Shrek.
That's what you asked for.
I know, but you said you weren't going to give it to me and then you gave it to me.
That's what you wanted.
Yeah.
But the miller was stubborn and he cared for Katie. Oh, I need a voice for the miller.
The donkey's voice. We'll get the gingerbread man involved later.
You want me to do like Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, I really want
That is a nice boulder. I like that. And in the morning, we're making waffles.
Yeah. Please.
Fucking hell.
Go on. Act like it's my birthday. Give the gift that keeps on giving.
I don't know how would he say it? And in the morning, I'm making one. I can't help it, mother. I love Katie, and I'm going to marry her. I hate myself.
I just fell in love with you.
He said firmly, to which his mother replied, "You're not going to marry Katie because Katie is going to die." Yes, she's Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the miller's will was stronger than his love for his mother, and he married Katie in secret and took her to live in a deserted house on a farm. Now, there were stories told in those parts about the brownie who had made his home there, but the miller was a friendly sort and not easily scared, and so he convinced young Katie that it would be safe, and together they went to meet with the brownie. Because whilst the brownie, it does all this cleaning, because they're so temperamental, you didn't really want one around, because they could become mischievous and they would punish lazy servants as well. So anyone a brownie thought was lazy, they would
I'd get
be
called lazy a lot.
mischievous and they would like pinch them and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then if they ever got angry enough that they turned into a boggart, they're even worse because they would do stuff. Well, obviously they could like steal kids and all that, but they would also like turn your milk sour and make your life disastrous. But the worst thing they would do.
That's quite a big spectrum there.
No, there is for a boggart, yeah. But like also one of the creepiest things they're known to do, boggarts, is they would come up to you while you were sleeping and place their hand on your face. So whilst you obviously didn't want one around, even though it's like, oh, they're clean all the time. Why wouldn't you want one? That's why you don't want one.
Because they'll clean their toilet and then in the middle of the night they just slap it on your cheek. Your really rosy cheek.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay.
Katie was a fair lass, and she could see that an appearance did not make a man. And although the brownie frightened her, she could sense his good nature and agreed to live there. They were all happy in their house, in their little mill, cracking on.
They're just off in the woods somewhere together.
Newlyweds and the brownie,
Yeah.
having a lovely time. They settled in happily in the house on the farm, and the brownie was made a fine bed of straw and bracken, and fed all the best bit of oatmeal and cream. For that he tended their mill, and each day new sacks of grain were laid neatly against the mill walls. He interfered not at all in their lives, but they came to love his quiet presence, his charming ways. For he would slip down the chimney as they slept and lay things just right, so when they woke, the wee house gleamed from every corner. Basically a free servant.
Matthew's got one of them.
You?
Yeah, I deep clean.
Oh, you're a deep cleaner.
I'm a deep cleaner. I'm a Mrs. Hinch follower. Do you know Mrs. Hinch?
No?
You don't know who Mrs. Hinch is?
Is she married to like Mr. Pledge?
Do you know pretty much? Do you know who Stacey Solomon is?
I mean, I know Stacey Solomon is, but I don't.
So Stacey Solomon has got a best friend and she's called Mrs. Hinch.
The one they did the TV show together.
Sort your life out.
I
Not the
don't
name
know.
of the programme. What I'm telling you to do, babe, if you don't know who Mrs. Hinch is. And Mrs. Hinch cleans everything with the pink stuff. Do you know what the pink stuff is?
I know what the pink stuff is, but why is Mrs. Hinch? Why don't she have a first name, and why is she known as Married Mrs. Hinch?
Basically, Mrs. Hinch, she got anxiety.
Right.
Or had anxiety. I don't know if you get it or you have it. Had anxiety, so she cleaned everything to like a ridiculous level and then would make videos of her doing it. Right. And then they went like viral and now she's got like 6 million followers and now she just has to clean all the time.
To be fair, I am on occasionally get put on cleaning TikTok, and I do very much love it. Cleaning TikTok taught me how to get the mold out of grouting, and I will always be so grateful.
Send me that video.
So good.
Also, do you love the rug ones?
Yes.
Oh, love a rug video. Big dirty rug. Oh, show me a big
Also,
dirty rug.
Bit of a bit of a change. Do you also see the ones like the pool guy where he goes and cleans all the swimming
Yeah,
pools?
Stacey Solomon knows the pool guy.
Does he?
Yeah, it's in my algorithm now.
Love it.
But yeah, I love a deep clean now.
I'm usually hide it with this throw kind of person.
Oh no, I've got a supersonic brush cleaner thing and I'll get that right in there.
Interesting.
Sorry. And it's arousing.
As it were to happen, especially with those who are young and in love, the young lady of the house became heavy with child, and as she grew more and more tired, the brownie would work harder until he spent many a day in the house of the miller and Katie. He became a friend to Katie, and she became accustomed to his horrible face, warmed by his quiet presence and his charming ways. And when the baby was due to come, it was the brownie who she called to fetch her husband, the miller, and he scampered with glee down the path to the mill. So this is quite unusual because brownies usually, I just keep out the way, I don't want anything to do with you. But they've actually formed a bond and attachment, even though he has a horrible face, apparently, harsh.
Yeah, I know.
And because there is some occasion, like this story, and there's a few others, where brownies will go and give help if they've formed an attachment to the human, but most of the time they don't want that. There are some versions of brownies, like, again, from sort of Roman mythology, they had to stay in that house. Whereas these brownies can be like, no, fuck yeah, I'm off if they're
I'll go
offended
find
enough.
somewhere. The thing is, I had that feeling at the start with the moped guy about being ambushed. I've got that same feeling about this brownie.
You think he's going to be evil?
I think he's going to take that baby.
Now, the miller too had grown fond of the brownie, but he was more traditional than wee Katie, and he felt that the presence of his mother was necessary for that bairn to be born. Why would you want your mother-in-law?
No, don't bring her in. She was
No,
going to
no.
kill Katie.
This is what I'm saying. Like, why would you want that? Absolutely no. And so he left Katie with the brownie, who mopped her brow as she called out with pain, and who stroked her face with his own furred hand.
What? What?
Oh, they're very hairy.
Did you say
Brownies.
third hand?
Furred.
Oh, yeah, 3 hands. I was like, say that at the beginning.
Yeah, that's one of the things you probably should have mentioned.
So the moment he's decided to go get his mummy, she's literally giving birth.
Yeah, she's having contractions, and
I'm livid.
the brownie's there looking after her, and he's like, I'm just going to get my mum.
Yeah, I'm fuming at that.
Yeah. But as soon as the footfall of the miller's mother was heard on the path, the brownie leapt up the chimney and disappeared from the room. Yeah, I don't fucking blame you, lad. Quite good on you. For brownies are magic beings themselves, and they know the dangers of a witch, especially those who dabble in magic that is not all white. So he immediately knew this was a bad witch.
Yeah.
And he's like, I won't be around that. I'm
Good
not,
judge of
I'm
character.
not stupid. Yeah. The miller's mother was friendly and calm, and in her pain and distress, Katie could not help but trust her. Absolutely fair. In that situation, you're like, anyone who's actually going to give me help, and my husband's clearly useless.
Yeah, but I don't think you're thinking at your clearest then, are you?
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean. Like, you just if anyone's even
Yeah.
pretending to give help, you're like, fine, I've got no option here.
But probably not making great judgment calls.
She allowed her mother-in-law to braid her hair and to set her back against pillows that were freshly stuffed. A tiny black kitten was set by her side to keep her company with her and the new baby. Then, turning the lassie's bed towards the door, she bid her farewell and left. So her mother-in-law's come in, braided her hair, left a little cat, and turned her bed towards the door. Oh, and stuffed her pillows.
I don't trust the cat.
You don't trust the cat.
I don't trust the cat anymore now. I trust the brownie. The cat.
Oh, in the space of a paragraph.
Yeah, I
We've
am
gone
like
from you
that.
back to trusting the brownie, and now the
Yeah.
cat's like, well, the cat's weird. Now Katie was soothed by the presence of the witch, but when she left, the pains began again in earnest, and she moaned and writhed for 2 whole days before the miller was forced to go for help. This miller needs to get in the bin.
48 hours he's left her writhing.
In pain,
Yeah.
and not thought, I should maybe go get some help. Like, he's just gone, I better put kettle on. Like, he's not done,
I've got this kitten to look after.
I've got this
now.
kid to look after now. He went first to his mother, but she feigned an illness and said she could not come back with him.
Oh, faking.
Suspicious. And so he returned to the farm where he found poor Katie sick with exhaustion and great pain. Oh, no, I've got to do his voice again. What do we...
He's a donkey, and I don't know how that goes down with sort of childbirth stuff, but
I mean, he's going to have to be excited. That's the only way I know how to do that voice. I'll go for the howdy woman, he said. For the howdy woman delivered most of the babies in the village, having the gift of midwifery. So
You can't go from that to that.
I can't slowly come.
I'll get howdy from the village.
I can't be like
And
Ross
he went
in Friends.
and got howdy from the village.
I can't be like Ross in Friends where he's trying to integrate his British accent back in, and I can't just do some Eddie Murphy as I talk in my normal voice.
All right, you're not a mastermind now. So bring up Friends.
So a howdy woman meant to be a helpful woman or neighbouring woman.
Right, cool.
Very common.
Good at childbirth.
Slang in these times.
Good
in
at
Scotland.
midwifery.
Good at midwifery. But Katie would not hear of it. So frightened she had become. Oh, I need a voice for Katie. Oh, Katie can.
Katie's having troubles. Katie's
She can just be
tired.
Yeah. Don't leave me here, she sobbed. Send the brownie. And that thought stopped them short, for many folk were frightened to visit them at their home because of that same brownie. And they wondered now if the howdy woman would fear to come as well. So it's like, let's go get the howdy woman. It's like, oh, but nobody visits us anyway because this brownie's here. So maybe she's not going to come. What's the point? But Katie's pain was dragging her deeper into a dreadful state, and the roses had disappeared from her cheeks. There was no sight of the bane, and there was nothing for it but to call the brownie to help. So it's like, it doesn't matter. We've got to go get her, and you, husband, can get up your arse and do something actual bloody useful.
Yeah.
Tit. The brownie was only too glad to help, and in the cover of darkness, with a great cloak wrapped across his hideous face, he rode off. I know it's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Yeah.
He rode off across the hills to fetch the howdy woman. And she came at once, for her calling was stronger than her fear, and she sat herself behind the brownie and wrapped her arms about him for warmth and for safety. She whispered in his ear as they rode. Oh, she can be from Yorkshire, sod it. There's always one every story.
Oh, well, that's what she whispered in his ear.
No!
There's always one. Let's get me to that castle or farm.
Or whatever it were.
I can't remember that far back.
It's a pidge, a girl. A pidge!
I think it were farm. Don't shudder your udder.
Christ on a bike. She whispered in his ear as they rode. Katie will be well again, no doubt, but I hope I don't see that brownie. I'm terrified of that brownie. Although it did say whispered and I said it quite loudly, but he's deaf in one ear, so she has to speak up. But the I need a voice for the brownie now. Bloody hell, I didn't realise.
Oh, do Dobby, come on, please.
Dobby is a free elf. Bad Dobby, bad Dobby.
Okay. But the brownie said,
No, don't worry. I can assure you for certain that you'll not see anything worse than what you're cuddling right now.
Yeah, that's nice.
"What you will." There we go. Right. He drove the howdy woman to the door of the house and made off with the horse into the darkness. The howdy woman had seen no birth like this, and for 4 more days she sat with Katie, who was expiring quickly now, torn by pains that wrecked her thin frame and struggling to keep sane as they plunged her into a burning hell with every contraction.
It's that fucking witch, isn't it?
So she's been in labour for like
a week.
a week.
I've got loads of friends that have had kids. None of them have been in labour for a week.
I had, you know this friend, Lily
Yeah.
Phillips, very talented comedian. You can watch her special on iPlayer on the streaming service. Do recommend.
Bosh.
She was in labour for 5 days,
Really?
and she hasn't been the same since.
Wow.
Something has gone from
That
her
is a
eyes.
life-changing experience. Yeah.
You just look at her now. I'm like, you okay? She, no, I don't think
Yeah,
I'll ever
that's,
be okay
that's a
again."
trauma.
I mean, it's never pleasant. Nobody's ever gone, do you know
Nah.
what? I just fell asleep.
But
And I was fine.
I would never want to be in labour for longer than I would go to Spain for. If my friend could go on an all-inclusive and be back, and I was in labour before they went and after they get back, that's gone badly for me.
Because when you're booking holidays, that's how they count it now, don't they? They say, how many weeks labour do you want to go for, all inclusive? And when we say all inclusive, does that include any potential labour you may have whilst you're here? Calamari and oxygen and gas, that's what we need.
But do you know what? Could you imagine that? You go to your friend, oh, I'm going into labour, but enjoy your holiday. They come back. You're still in labour.
It'd be horrible.
You wouldn't want a souvenir, would you?
I tell you what I definitely wouldn't want is this pissing Miller who was like, every 48 hours, maybe I should do something.
They all seem a bit useless.
They do, yeah. The miller sat brooding in a chair. Oh, here he is, look. Helpless against this pain he could not understand, and suddenly he sat up and snapped his fingers. I'll bet a shilling, he said, that this is the work of my mother. No shit, Sherlock.
And who brought your mother here, babe?
That would be you. So he rode straight to the house of his mother and shouted at her, "Take that spell off my Katie! I know you've done something! And then we'll have waffles!" That isn't in here, I just thought I'd add it. His mother shook her head and said, "I will not! I told you, she is gonna die, and you're gonna marry the farmer's daughter." She stood firm then and would not help poor Katie. So poor Katie seemed destined to die in agony, and he ran away into the night, straight into the wee brownie, for he had no one else to whom he could turn. And the brownie thought for a while and said,
I'll tell you what I can do. Take me down to your mother.
"Oh no," said the miller. "That wouldn't help us at all. God himself couldn't help me against my mother."
Ah,
said the brownie.
But you take me down because I can become invisible. And if you were to rush in and tell your mother, "Oh, mother, you've got a beautiful grandson," and then run off again, I'll stay behind to see what happens, and I'll be invisible.
So this is the new plan.
Oh.
Which is
Clever Dobby. Dobby is a clever elf.
Dobby is a clever elf. Oh.
yeah, so the plan is we'll go in there, I can be invisible, she'll never know. We'll tell her it's actually gone to plan, and then I'll see her reaction.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens, right? And so it was decided that the brownie would come along, and when they reached the house of his mother, the miller ran in and cried, "Mother, you have got a beautiful grandson!" And she said, "What?" Her face a mask of alarm and fury. "Oh, yes," shouted the miller. "But I can't stop. I must go and see Katie." And with that, he ran back over the hills to wait for the brownie.
I mean, I love it.
On the road again! Sing him in that Shrek! I just can't wait to get on the road again!
I'm not sure I've made the correct artistic choice there.
This is why I did that episode where I predetermined the voices. This is why. Because when it's left to you, shit like this happens. It's awful.
It does add a different layer to it, doesn't it?
I thought it was going to be bad enough that I'd be having to do a Scottish accent, but we've just made it so much worse. As he went out the door, the woman stamped her feet and pulled at her hair, cursing all the time. "Who told him about the witch's knots in Katie's hair? How did he know about the black cat? Who told him about the raven's feathers in those great white pillows? And who told them that I turned her feet to the door?" So these are all the witches'
Parts
things.
of the spell.
Yeah, because I don't know all of them. I know there's something about witches tying knots, and the amount of knots is reflective of the type of spell or curse being placed. So traditionally, there's a lot of spells by witches where knots are tied, and it's usually like 13,
Right.
like that kind of thing.
So you just undo that plait in her hair.
So yeah, in theory, and then black cats we know are
Kill it.
evil. Well, in medieval times, they did kill them a lot.
Or what will she do? Just open the door, let it run out.
Well, you don't know. But what I like is with black cats in medieval times, they killed them a lot because they were seen as the incarnate of witches, or they were the devil, or this, that, and the other. But what was really funny is the time they were killing them was the time of the Black Death, which was being carried by rats, and it would have helped if they'd had more cats.
No.
Especially black ones that could disguise themselves a lot better. So they were just making things worse for themselves.
Just a quick one.
Mm.
Did you figure that out? You read that in a book?
Well, obviously I've read that in a book because I wasn't there. I thought, well, how would I know it? How else would I know it?
No, but why were you like, it would have been great if they'd had more black cats? Is that you bringing all that information together and your opinion, or did you
Yeah.
read that
No,
sentence?
I made an opinion out of this.
What an excellent opinion.
I don't know if
Clever
it's a
Lulu.
compliment. I'm going to take it.
It is.
Right.
That's great.
Thank
You're
you.
like a historian.
Just really shit
I dropped the
historian.
H on that.
Thank-
Historian.
Well, I'm from Hull as well, so you got to drop the H's and stuff. So the knots, I think the cat we honour. The raven's feathers, I don't understand.
They're in the pillow.
Yeah, and I don't know what. Yeah, thanks. She only remembers 2 bits of information from the entire fucking story, and that's one of them. Thank you. Yes, I mean the relevance because, like,
Oh, they look evil as well, though, don't they?
well, it
Ravens.
depends because so in a lot of cultures and stuff, birds are thought to be the messengers of God. So actually, a feather is a good thing, and different feathers can mean different things.
Excuse me.
What?
Who do you think you're talking to?
Oh, fucking hell.
You don't think feathers come into my
Did you say-
spirituality thing? You don't think that every time I walk down the street and there's a feather in my path, I don't Google, what does it mean? Who's trying to contact me? Did you not know that about spirituality? Oh, they all mean something different.
Well, what's a raven's one mean then?
That's black, innit? You don't want a black feather. That's like symbolising like death.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you definitely don't want a fuck ton in your pillow. You just don't.
All right, fair enough. And then the feet by the door. I know this one. It's no, that's a superstition because it's bad luck. I think it's from like Chinese traditions where when their bodies were dead, they would face their feet by the door so that the afterlife the spirits
take it.
could grab them. And
Yeah.
but it's a really bad luck. So if you look at like feng shui things, it's always like, oh, don't have the end of your bed towards the door. It's bad feng shui.
Oh, right.
But that's one. It's one of the minor superstitions I have. You don't have the end of your bed by the door.
Oh, hold on. We will get back to the story because we must. But
Mildly superstitious.
you...
And I know
That's a juxtaposition in your personality. That's I don't know if that's okay.
I don't have it so bad that I can't it's like if something happens that I'm superstitious about, I'll be like, oh, I feel a bit annoyed about that. I'll get over it. It's not debilitating.
You cheeky little monkey.
I know I don't really have a right to speak about you and your moony shit when I have some superstitions.
Yeah,
You
when
are
you're not
correct.
walking over free drains.
Yeah, I can't do that one. That's one of mine.
My God.
Yeah, and I am one of those crazy people that you see just occasionally just jotting to the side. So I'm like, oh, 3 drains.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
Oh my God, we are bonding.
And I can't do even, but I think this is a very common one. The volume has to be an even number.
What is the superstition behind that?
That's just common sense. Like you can't. Who's having odd number on
I think
volume?
that's OCD.
That's not OCD. That is people who do volumes on odd number are obscene. I don't understand. Yeah. So the brownie has now heard all of this.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's going to take that back. He's going to undo her hair.
The brownie skipped away as fast as his legs would carry him, over the hills to greet the miller, and together they ran back to the house on the farm where Katie lay with the Howdy Woman. Now, the Howdy Woman had only to set eyes on the grinning brownie when she was up and out the door in a flash, but the brownie set himself to work, stroking the poor lass's cheek and mopping her brow, warming her with his quiet presence and his charming ways. He united her head and brushed it down around her shoulders, crooning softly in her ears. He's sweet. I like him. Then he took those great new pillars and set them aflame in the hearth until only dust remained of those evil black feathers. And then, with one angry twist, he took the head from the kitten and burned her too, out of sight, of course, of poor Katie.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he was sweet until that.
There were other ways to do it, weren't there?
Yeah, but he's just taken the head off like a jar of pickles.
Yeah.
Which is what the cat might have been called, pickles.
Also, I'm glad he did that bit away from Katie, because even if someone come in and I'm 8 days deep into childbirth and someone just goes, let's take your hair down.
Yeah.
We'll burn those pillows.
Yeah.
You won't be needing them. I'll be like, a little bit of context, please.
Why? What is happening?
Got some questions.
I've got a lot I can let go right now, but this is not one of them. And so it was when the brownie moved the bed round so that her feet faced the door no longer, the cry of an infant was heard in that house on the farm. Katie slept then, and when she woke, her baby was cleaned and swaddled, and the roses returned to her cheeks once more. Oh. But the brownie had gone, for brownies often do that, just disappear, never to be seen again. They missed the wee man's quiet presence and his charming ways, but he had milled enough grain for 20-odd years, and they lived on that house on the farm with their new baby in comfort and in good fortune. And that is the end of the story.
Oh, that was a nice one.
Yeah, there you go, you see.
Apart from the 8 days labour.
And the cat being decapitated.
Aside from that, what a cheery little number you brought
Sure,
today.
Sweet number. Yeah, so there were a lot of horrible brownie stories, but this is one of the ones where they actually encountered
Cutesy.
a cutesy. I
Yeah.
thought you might like it. And it was Scottish, and you like the Scottishness.
I do.
Even though you made me do an array of different voices that weren't Scottish.
I'm just upset we didn't get the gingerbread man in there. But
We've done him before, haven't we?
yeah, I think maybe we did, but maybe I do like that one. But I think
Yeah, what do you think the moral is?
it's just don't judge a book by its cover, isn't it?
Is he?
Like-
Who's being judged by the
The brownie, like what's the lady called? The one helping deliver babies.
the Howdy Woman.
The Howdy Woman, she was like, as soon as she saw him, she was like, I'm off. He's a great guy. What would the other moral be?
I do have one.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll like it.
Is it fucking nonsense, is it? Go on, tell me, sorry.
You can seek revenge if it's to undo a wrong committed to you, only if it's in good faith. So because this witch had been horrible and done all this stuff to Katie, it was absolutely fine that the miller and the brownie went to go and get revenge on the witch, because it was to a good end. It was to get information to help Katie. I'm not sure how I feel about that one.
I think that is poor revenge.
Yeah.
What, the revenge is that they overheard her?
I think
Did I miss a bit? She's not dead, is she?
No, I think the word revenge is incorrect.
I mean, they killed her cat.
Yeah, they did kill
They
her
did,
cat.
they did kill her cat.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was ever expecting that back. If she was, then yeah, that is revenge.
She's just roaming
If
the
I let my
streets.
puppy out,
Mittens!
yeah, then that is revenge. But again, there's some holes there. They never really said how much she cared for that cat.
I mean, you shouldn't care for a cat. They're evil. I hate cats.
Okay.
They're horrible.
I mean, I'm not a massive cat person.
Correct.
As in, I wouldn't want a puma in my house. No. As in, I'm a dog person.
Yeah.
Love a dog.
Like the Egyptians were the last people who liked cats, and then we all learnt our lesson and went, no, they're absolutely horrific and evil.
You'll have to tell me about the Egyptians soon. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, I'll just spend 5 minutes with that, shall I?
What's the other morals?
That was it. That was the main one I got, really. And yeah, it was the sort of not judge a book by its cover.
Is it?
Yeah, kind of.
It is that one, isn't it? It's like, don't judge that poor little brownie.
I love that I always give you several that people have come up with, and you go, no, I like this one, so I'm going to say it's just that one.
Well, yeah, because I am quite astute with
You what, mate?
morals. Is that the right word?
But considering I can't say a sentence without you wandering off somewhere in your mind palace to think of something else, a stew isn't maybe one of the words I'd use for that.
Would you mind if I referred to it as my mind palace from here on out? Because I do like that.
Oh, I mean, I say mind palace, but what I'm imagining is just you.
A lot of doors that I can't get into.
That, for one, and then just small you.
Oh, this one does. Oh, sorry. No, you can't come. Okay, no, I won't go in there. Don't worry about that. I won't find out about that. Leave that one shut.
Yeah,
No worries.
and just a small you on a tricycle going around going do 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 do. Oh no, not that one. Do 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 do. That's all I'm picturing.
To be honest, I can't tell if that song is coming from outside of my brain or inside. And I love it.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Be Fairy Afraid Pod. Thanks for listening.